Botswana President Advocate Duma Boko has officially been sworn in. Boko is the country's 6th president after his party, the Umbrella for Democratic Change, defeated the governing Botswana Democratic Party in recent elections. South Africa's Deputy President Paul Mashatile and EFF leader Julius Malema are among those that attended the inauguration ceremony in Botswana's capital, Gaborone. For more on this, we speak to SABC News International editor Sophie Mokoena. Good evening, Sophie. A momentous and historic occasion for the people of Botswana. We saw also that a number of leaders on the African continent attended the event. Talk us through this.
Yes, I can mention the president of Zambia, Hakainde Hichilema. You know that he was the opposition leader in that country, and he was able to take over power from Edgar Lungu. You also had the current SADC chair, that is the president of Zimbabwe, Emmerson Mnangagwa. The president of Namibia was also present. But countries such as Tanzania, Mozambique, and others, including in the east, that is the East African country, Kenya, did send their representatives. So it was a number of leaders here and representing different countries. That speaks to perhaps a slow start in terms of engaging with the new president.
What has been those leaders on the continent's sentiment to just being able to witness the smooth or peaceful transition of power?
Well, when I spoke to the president of Zambia, Hakainde Hichilema, he said this is a good sign that points to the fact that in the SADC region you can have a transfer of power in a very peaceful manner. It did happen in South Africa when the governing party at that time lost its absolute majority, and now we are talking about Botswana. However, it is not a good story to tell when you look at what's happening in Mozambique currently, where the opposition has rejected the results. We saw destruction, we saw people being killed, and people taken to the streets. We are really monitoring that situation. That will be our focus next week. That would include the coming elections in Namibia. So it looks like this year that was dubbed as a year in which people of the world will be going to elections. It did happen, and lots of changes and surprises.
Well, certainly lots of changes. We are monitoring those elections coming up in Namibia on the 27th of November. But to President Boko, he has a mammoth task ahead of him, Sophie, of reviving the economy. What exactly did he have to say today to the people of Botswana?
When he spoke, he focused mainly on trying to explain who he was. He was very personal, and I think he wanted to really make Botswana aware that he is one of their own, so that they can settle. He didn't dwell much in terms of policies, vision, or perhaps the aims and objectives. But tomorrow, when we have a one-on-one with him, we will really now weigh in the relation to current issues, looking at the economy in the country, how is he going to unite the nation, but also on the continent, the SADC meeting next week. This will be his first public appearance, or I can say regional appearance, when this region is meeting to discuss the situation in Mozambique. And of course, we will also try to get a sense of his views in relation to the Middle East and also the war in Ukraine, because when you are a head of state, your country is not an island. You have to be familiar with issues that are currently happening around the world.
And what has been former President Mokgweetsi Masisi's message during this period of transition?
Well, I spoke to him immediately when he arrived. In fact, I used the words of former President Thabo Mbeki when he spoke to the SABC that this is an example of a leader who was able to accept defeat and handed over power, but not only handed over power, created that smooth transition. And he said, yes, this was being displayed in front of all to watch, particular leaders on the continent and the world. Therefore, as people continue to commend America in terms of how they handled the transition, you have a better story to tell on the continent and in the region. We don't have to look 1,000 miles away. We have our own story to tell.
Indeed, we do have a great story to tell. And then just in closing, the most important, the citizens of Botswana who have installed this new president, how are they feeling post this inauguration?
Well, Botswana are happy. They were very happy. Yes, there were challenges here and there when particularly the president of Zimbabwe, his name was mentioned. The booing was so loud, including booing their former president, Mashatile. But when you look at their president, their former presidents, particularly Ian Khama, real loud acceptance, including the South African politician Julius Malema and the deputy president of South Africa. So people are not ignorant. They know what they want. They know where the country is. They know where their region is. They know where the continent is. And I think now a big task is that President Boko will have to ensure that he does address the challenges of the economy and also unemployment, because when you look around, it's young people, the same story from other countries on the continent with the youngest population in the world.